Good morning from Sridham Mayapur, dear devotees. We have our daily Srimad Bhagavatam Katha. We're going to start. Shri Guru Nitai Gaur Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Jaya Gopi Janna Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janna Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Chari Jaya Jamuna Tiravachari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Shri Radha Madhava Ji Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Shravanarottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Vedi Ramayane Shaiva Purane Bhagate Tata Adhavande Chamadye Chahari Shavatsagiyate Mukam Karodi Vachalam Vangum Gayate Girim Yakripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Vinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda He Madhava Padunga Luchi Makaranda Se Makaranda Panakori Anande Bolo Hari Hari Harinka Name Vande Vela Hari Kori Ve Chakadora Se Chakadolanka Paraye Manamo Rahu Nirantare Manamo Nirantare Rahu Ha Krishna Boli Jiva Jao Ha Krishna Boli Jao Jiva Mote Udara Radha Dava Mote Udara Radha Dava Mote Udara Radha Dava Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 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 Good morning, dear devotees. Sridham Mayapur. Reading from Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam, the king of all literatures, Canto 3, Chapter 25, text number 38. This is Lord Kapila Dev speaking to his mother, Devahuti. Nakarichin mat parashantarupe nakshanti no me nimisho lidihiti yeshamaham priya atma sutascha Saka Guru Surido Daivam Ishtam. The Lord continued, my dear mother, devotees who receive such transcendental opulences are never bereft of them. Neither weapons nor the change of time can destroy such opulences. Because the devotees accept me as their friend, their relative, their son, preceptor, benefactor, and supreme deity, they cannot be deprived of their possessions at any time. Srila Prabhupada describes in his purport, it is stated in Bhagavad Gita that one may elevate himself to the higher planetary systems, even up to Brahmalok, by dint of pious activities, but when the effects of such pious activities are finished, one again comes back to this earth to begin a new life of activities. Thus, even though one is promoted to the higher planetary system for enjoyment and a long duration of life, still that is not a permanent settlement. But as far as the devotees are concerned, their assets, the achievement of devotional service, and the consequent opulence of Vaikuntha, even on this planet, are never destroyed. In this verse, Kapila Deva addresses his mother as Shanta Rupa, indicating that the opulences of the devotees are fixed, because devotees are eternally fixed in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, which is called Shanta Rupa because it is in the mode of pure goodness, undisturbed by the modes of passion and ignorance. Once one is fixed in the devotional service of the Lord, his position of transcendental service cannot be destroyed, and the pleasure in service simply increase unlimitedly. For the devotees engaged in Krishna consciousness in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there's no influence of time. In the material world, the influence of time destroys everything. But in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there's no influence of time or the demigods, because there are no demigods in the Vaikuntha planets. Here, our activities are controlled by different demigods. Even if we move our hand and leg, the action is controlled by the demigods. But in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there's no influence of the demigods or of time. Therefore, there's no question of destruction. When the time element is present, there's certainty of destruction. But when there's no time element, past, present, or future, then everything is eternal. Therefore, this verse uses the words nanakshanti, indicating that the transcendental opulences will never be destroyed. The reason for freedom from destruction is also described. The devotees accept the Supreme Lord as the most dear personality and reciprocate with him in different relationships. They accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the dearmost friend, the dearmost relative, the dearmost son, the dearmost preceptor, the dearmost well-wisher, or the dearmost deity. The Lord is eternal. Therefore, any relationship in which we accept him is also eternal. It is clearly confirmed herein that the relationships cannot be destroyed, and therefore the opulences of those relationships are never destroyed. Every living entity has a propensity to love someone. We can see that if someone has no object of love, he generally directs his love to a pet animal like a cat or a dog. Thus, the eternal propensity for love in all living entities is always searching for a place to reside. From this verse, we can learn that we can love the Supreme Personality of Godhead as our dearmost object, as a friend, as a son, as a preceptor, or as a well-wisher, and there will be no cheating and no end to such love. We shall eternally enjoy the relationship with the Supreme Lord in different aspects. A special feature of this verse is the acceptance of the Supreme Lord as the Supreme Preceptor. Bhagavad Gita was spoken directly by the Supreme Lord, and Arjuna accepted Krishna as Guru, or spiritual master. Similarly, we should accept only Krishna as a supreme spiritual master. Krishna, of course, means Krishna and his confidential devotees. Krishna is not alone. When we speak of Krishna, Krishna means Krishna in his name, in his form, in his qualities, in his abode, and in his associates. Krishna is never alone. For the devotees of Krishna are not impersonalists. For example, a king is always associated with his secretary, his commander, his servant, and so much paraphernalia. As soon as we accept Krishna and his associates as our preceptors, no ill effects can destroy our knowledge. In the material world, the knowledge which we acquire may change because of the influence of time. But nevertheless, the conclusions received from Bhagavad Gita directly from the speeches of the Supreme Lord Krishna can never change. There's no use interpreting Bhagavad Gita. It is eternal. Krishna, the Supreme Lord, should be accepted as one's best friend. He will never cheat. He will always give his friendly advice and friendly protection to the devotee. If Krishna is accepted as a son, he will never die. Here, we have a very loving son or child. But the father and mother, or those who are affectionate toward him, always hope, may my son never die. But Krishna actually never will die. Therefore, those who accept Krishna, or the Supreme Lord, as their son, will never be bereft of their son. In many instances, devotees have accepted the deity as a son. In Bengal, there are many such instances, and even after the death of the devotee, the deity performs a shraddha ceremony for the father. The relationship is never destroyed. People are accustomed to worship different forms of demigods, but in Bhagavad Gita, such a mentality is condemned. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to worship only the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his different forms, such as Lakshmi Narayan, Sita Ram, and Radha Krishna. Thus, one will never be cheated. By worshipping the demigods, one may elevate himself to the higher planets. But during the dissolution of the material world, the deity and the abode of the deity will be destroyed. But one who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead is promoted to the Vaikuntha planets, where there is no influence of time, destruction, or annihilation. The conclusion is that the time influence cannot act upon devotees who have accepted the Supreme Personality of Godhead as everything. Gora Graganya Gana Gotra Goloruharam Goranga Gudatama Gopyada Kopa Briksham Gopala Gada Ratidam Yati Singha Gora Govinda Deshi Kamvaram Satatam Namami Uttama Adama Kichuna Bachila Jachi Adile Kakola Kahe Premananda Emana Goranga Hridoya Dariya Bola Bhaja Goranga Kaha Goranga Laha Gorangera Namare Jai Jana Goranga Bhaje Se Hoya Mara Pranare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Good morning, dear devotees from Sridham Mayapur. Trying to have our discussion today on Srimad Bhagavatam. It's such a nice thing. I feel so happy just every day to fix my mind in Srimad Bhagavatam. You get so much peace. It's described in the first canto of the Bhagavatam that Shoka Moha Bhayapaha, that someone who regularly hears the Bhagavatam, there's no shok, there's no moha, there's no lamentation, no illusion, no bhaya, there's no fear. One is completely peaceful if we just hear Srimad Bhagavatam every day. So this verse today, we're discussing the topic how devotees never lose anything. Because devotees, they have Krishna. And if a devotee has Krishna, they have everything. And so then there's no question of them ever losing anything. But in the material world, the living entities here, their anxiety is unlimited. Because they're so much attached to temporary things. And because those temporary things are going to slip from their grasp, then they're always suffering. And they're always thinking that to get more and more temporary things is going to solve my problems, it's going to make me happy. As they say in America, whoever dies with the most toys wins. But probably whoever has the most toys is just completely full of anxiety. As the saying goes, what kind of gift do you buy for the man who has everything? The answer is you buy him a burglar alarm. Because he's completely in anxiety. Because by nature, everything material we're going to lose. But if someone has Krishna, then they have everything. And Krishna, as Prabhupada says, will always give his friendly advice and friendly protection to the devotee. It's described by Krishna in the 9th canto of the Bhagavatam. Sadhavo hridayam mayam sadhanam hridayam swaham namananyate najanati naham tebhyam managapi. Krishna says that the pure devotees in the core of my heart, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he explains this, he says that the Vaishnavas, the devotees, are the super soul of the super soul. Krishna is the super soul in the heart of all living entities. But who is the super soul of the super soul? It's the devotees, because the devotees are in the heart of the Lord. And Krishna says, the devotee is always in my heart. I'm always in the heart of my devotee. They don't know anything else but me, and I don't know anything else but them. The devotees are simply fixed in Krishna. And being fixed in Krishna, they have everything. In the 9th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says, Ananyas chintayanto mam yajana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga kemam baham yaham. My Guru Maharaj used to like to quote this verse quite often. That for those persons who are ananyas chintayanto mam, who are concentrating exclusively on Krishna, then Krishna says that yoga kemam vaham yaham. I carry whatever they lack, and I preserve whatever they have. Krishna will always take care of his devotee. Krishna will never give up his devotee. Again, in the 9th canto of the Bhagavatam, Krishna tells Durvasa Muni, Ye gara gara putrapta pranan vittam imam param hitvamam saranam yakta katam tams chaktim utsahe. Because he says, my devotees, my dear devotees, Dara, Agara, Putra, Apta, they give up their Dara. Dara is their wife, their Agara, their house, their Putra, their children, their sons, their Apta, their relatives. Pranan, even they give up their life. Vitam, they give up their wealth, which for some people is more dear than their life. They have no desire for material enjoyment in this life or the next. Krishna says, for those devotees, katamtam chaktam utsahe. How could I ever give them up? I can never give them up. Again, in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, it's described, Tatanite dimadava chaktava kvachit brashyanti margat tvayibada soridaha tvaya bigupta vicharanti nirbhaya vinyayo kanat kappa murdasu prabho. It's a prayer to Krishna. My dear Lord, you're the husband of the goddess of fortune, you're Madhava. If devotees who are completely in love with you, sometimes they may fall down from the path of devotion. They don't fall down like non-devotees, for you still protect them. Srila Prabhupada writes in one purport in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, he says that no one falls from the spiritual world. But if someone appears to fall, like Jai and Vijay, then they come with some other purpose. Otherwise, no one falls. The verse goes on to say that if they do fall down, they don't fall down like non-devotees, because Krishna will always protect such devotees. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his Sarta Darshani commentary explains this point further. What happens if a devotee falls down? He's yadiva brashyanti tadapi tvayi badasurida eva bhavanti chitraketu bharata indra jumnadinam brahmse sati vitaditve premna sataguni bhava darshanat bhatkanam brahmsopi premadikya hetu eva drishta. He says even if they do fall down, then just like, and he gives a series of examples, like Chitraketu Maharaj, who was cursed by Parvati. He fell down and took the birth as a demon, became Vritrasura. Or Bharat Maharaj, who took the birth of a deer. He said, even in those births, like Vritrasura, their love increases millions of times over. And they've not lost the Lord, even if they fall down. So there's no question of a devotee losing anything. And therefore, one of Krishna's qualities described by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is his 37th quality of his 64 qualities. Krishna's Saranagata Palaka. He's a protector of those who take shelter of him. Krishna, we may ask a question, why does Krishna come? In the Hari Bhakti Sudodoya, Krishna addresses this point. He says, Nityam cha purnakamasya janmani vividani me bhakta sarveshtadanaya tasmat kim te priyam vada. He says that, Krishna says, I'm purnakamasya. My desires are all completely fulfilled. So then why do I come? Janmani, why do I take birth again? Why do I manifest myself here again and again in this world? He says, the only reason I come is bhakta sarveshta dhanaya. Because I want to please my devotees. I want to fulfill the desires of my devotees. This is why Krishna himself comes. So, as Srila Prabhupada is describing in this verse in purport, the devotee never loses anything, and therefore Lord Kapila addresses his mother as Shanta Rupa. Shanta means peaceful, and Rupa means the form of peace. She's completely peaceful. A devotee is completely Shanti. Krishna Bhakta Niskama Taiva Shanta. The Bhakta is completely peaceful, but Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashanta. The non-devotees, the karmis, the gyanis, the persons trying to acquire knowledge, the yogis, they're always full of anxiety because they're always afraid that they're going to lose whatever they've gotten. But the devotees have Krishna, and Krishna can never go away from such a devotee. Krishna becomes bound up and controlled by such a devotee. Again, in the Hari Bhakti Sudodoya, Krishna tells Prahlad Maharaj, he says, Sada muktopi bhadosmi bhaktena snehirajabi. He says, although I'm famous as Mukunda, I'm always liberated and I can liberate everyone, still I become bound up with the rope of love of my devotee. As Bilvamangala Thakur once told the Lord, Bilvamangala was blind, and Krishna came personally and was guiding him on his way to Vrindavan. Bilvamangala was walking he had to walk, 1,000 miles or some long, long distance to go to Vrindavan, and he's blind. How can he find his way? Krishna personally came and took him by the hand. And they were traveling for some time, and after some time, Bilvamangala came to understand who that young boy was who was taking him by the hand. And then Krishna disappeared. Of course, Bilvamangala couldn't see him anyway. And then Bilvamangala chastised him. He said, you think you may leave my hand, but you can't leave my heart. So the devotees, they always have Krishna bound up in their heart. And for them, there's no loss because Krishna has everything. But for someone who's a non-devotee, no matter how much wealth they have, they may own Trump Towers and they may own so much unlimited wealth, but still they're in so much anxiety. What does CNN say about me? What do the polls say about me? Someone may be so very, very rich, but still they're full of anxiety. But a devotee may be a very, very poor person, but because he has Krishna locked up in his heart, then he has everything. And as Srila Prabhupada describes in the purport, the devotees, they don't take shelter of the devatas. There's a nice story in this regard. If you go to Jagannath Puri, highly recommended, you'll see there's 4 gates. And on the southern side, the southern gate of the Jagannath Mandir, it's the horse gate, the Hati Dwara, and, Ashwini Dwara, the horse gate. And that gate, there's 2 figures sitting on horses, and it has to do with a very wonderful story. There was one king of Puri whose name was Raj Purushottam Dev. And he was the father of the very famous Maharaj Prataparudra, who was a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Raj Purushottam Dev lived somewhere in the mid-1400s. And at that time, like many kings, he invaded Kanchi. It's a common thing for the kings. They would attack sometimes their neighboring rulers if there was some enmity or some quarrel or something. And so the king of Kanchi, his name was Maharaj Salwa, Narasimhadev, he understood that Maharaj Purushottam Dev was a very virtuous and powerful ruler, so he thought, best we just make a truce. So he offered the hand of his daughter named Padmavati Devi in marriage to Purushottam Dev. And then Maharaj Purushottam Dev invited Salwanara Singha, you please come to Rath Yatra. But Salwanara Singha couldn't make it because he's a king. Kanchi is very busy. But he sent his ministers, and his name was Chinubhatta Godaranga. And when Chinubhatta Godaranga arrived there on the Rath Yatra time, which is coming up soon, he saw the Charan Pahari. Charan Pahari is a system which goes on in Orissa for thousands of years. And it's where, before the Rath Yatra, the king of Puri comes and sweeps in front of Lord Jagannath. Because it's considered that actually Lord Jagannath is the real king of Orissa. And the so-called king, the Gajapati Maharaj, or the king of Puri, he's just the servant of Lord Jagannath. And so when Chinubhatta Godaranga, this minister of Salwanara Singha, saw him sweeping, saw Purushottam Dev sweeping in front of the Rath Yatra cart, he became very disturbed. Because to be a sweeper in India is not a very high-class thing. As we sometimes comment, if you want to be sure to get in a fight with somebody in India, you can call them a bungi. Bungi is like a really bad word. But bungi literally means a sweeper. Because bungis are considered very, very low class because they clean the stools and dead animals and whatever, nasty things. They're considered to be untouchable. And so to see Maharaj Purushottam Dev sweeping was inconceivable. So his minister, Chinubhatta Godaranga, went back and told Salwanara Singha that this guy, he's a sweeper. And when Salwanara Singha found out about it, he said, I'm not going to marry my daughter to a sweeper, forget it. And so he sent a message back saying, forget it, I'm not going to marry my daughter to a sweeper. And so Purushottam Maharaj became furious, became very, very angry. So I'm not just a sweeper, I'm a servant of Lord Jagannath. And you're not just offending me, but you're offending Lord Jagannath. And so he took his army and he marched on Kanchi to fight with Salwanara Singha. And much to his surprise, Maharaj Purushottam Dev was badly defeated. He barely escaped with his life. And along with a few survivors, they ran away. And on their way back to Puri, they stopped at the ashram of one sadhu, who was a devotee of Lord Jagannath. His name was Saikatacharya. And when Saikatacharya saw the king of Puri looking so depressed, morose, he asked him, is everything okay? And Maharaj Purushottam Dev explained what had happened. And then Saikatacharya asked him, before you went to fight against the army of Salwanara Singha, did you first take the blessings of Lord Jagannath? And Maharaj Purushottam Dev became a little embarrassed, and he said, well, actually, now that you mention it, no, I didn't. I forgot all about it. He said, I was so furious with this guy, how he's offending Lord Jagannath, I just went to fight with him. And so then Salwanara Singha, Saikatacharya told him, you should go back again and offer some prayer to Lord Jagannath. You get his benediction. So the king went to the temple, and he stayed in the temple all night, just crying and crying and praying. And finally, early in the morning, Lord Jagannath spoke to him. And Maharaj Purushottam Dev heard the voice of the Lord saying, don't worry, I'll come with you. And so when he came out that morning from the temple, Maharaj Purushottam Dev was very bright-faced and very, very happy. The Lord had given this benediction. And word very quickly spread that Lord Jagannath was personally going to go to fight in the army of Maharaj Purushottam Dev. So everyone wanted to volunteer to be part of the army. Even the small children, even the Matajis, they said, forget it, I'll leave our kids, but I'm going to go fight in the army with Lord Jagannath. The old ladies also, everyone wanted to go. And the king had to tell them, no, you stay back. And he just took the soldiers. And they began to march toward Kanchi. As they were marching, there were two warriors who were going ahead of the army. One was on a black horse and one was on a white horse. And if you go to that gate of the Jagannath Mandir, you'll see these two figures, one on a black horse and one on a white horse. And they stopped at a small village near Lake Chilika. And there was a lady, a low-class lady by the road, low-class by birth. Her name was Manika. and she was selling dahi, yogurt. And these two warriors stopped and said, "It's a really hot day, we're very thirsty, please give us some yogurt." And so she gave them, and then she asked for the payment. And the two warriors, they told her, "Look, we don't have any money, but the king's coming, and he'll take care, he'll pay for our yogurt. You just show him this ring." And then they gave her a valuable jeweled ring. And so later, when the king of Puri, Maharaj Purushottam Dev, was going by the road, he saw some poor woman standing on the road waving at him and jumping up and down very excitedly. "Don't you try to cheat me. You owe me money." He said, "What? What is this crazy woman?" And he said, "What are you saying, woman?" She said, "Two of your warriors came on a white horse and a black horse, and I gave them some yogurt, and they promised me that you would pay." And the king is saying, "What are you talking about? We don't have any warriors on a white horse and a black horse." "No, no, no, no. They came and they gave me this ring." And then she showed him the ring. And the king saw it was a Ratna Mudrika, the ring of Lord Jagannath. And he had an attitude adjustment. And he became very, very inspired. And he said, "Yes, I have something I'll give you." He gave her the whole village as payment. And to that day, this village is there in Orissa. It's known as Manikapatna, named after her. And so this time when Maharaj Purushottam Dev went and fought against Salva Narasingha, he completely defeated him. And he took back, he captured his deity of Banda Ganesh and brought that deity back and put it in the Jagannath Mandir, and that deity of Banda Ganesh is still there to this day. That's the way the kings would do something. If you really defeat someone, then you take their deity. And he also took his daughter, Padmavati. Now, Padmavati was very beautiful and qualified in every way, but Maharaj Purushottam Dev, remembering how her father had criticized indirectly Lord Jagannath, he refused to accept her as his wife. Instead, he put her in the care of his closest minister, and he told him that you should marry her to a very qualified and cultured sweeper. And the minister said, "Yes, Maharaj." And so then another year went by, and the Rath Yatra festival came again. And after the Pahandi Vijay was over and the deities were on the carts, then the king came to perform the Charapahana, the sweeping of the Lord's cart. And just as he came, at that time, the king's minister arrived there with Padmavati. And he stood up on the chariot and he made an announcement. "Please everyone listen. The king, he told me that I should marry this princess to a qualified and cultured sweeper. But in my opinion, the king, he's the most qualified and cultured sweeper in all the kingdom of Utkal, because he sweeps for Lord Jagannath. And therefore I offer this princess Padmavati to the king in marriage." So Maharaj Purushottam Dev, he was kind of put on the spot, and accepted Padmavati as his wife. And later she gave birth to a son who became known as Maharaj Prataparudra, the great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the devotee is always maintained by the Lord. In the Padma Purana, there's a nice verse where Krishna describes Darshana Dhyana Samsparshaya Matsya Karma Vihangamaha Swanyapatyani Pushnanti Tataham Api Padmaja. He said, just as the fish, the turtle, and the bird nourish their offspring, I also maintain my devotees. So how do the fish, the tortoise, and the bird maintain their offspring? The fish doesn't give any hugs to the baby fish. The fish just maintains the babies just by watching them. The tortoise is not even there. He comes and lays his eggs on the beach and goes away. But he's meditating on it. And the bird maintains the baby birds by keeping them in close physical contact. So Krishna says, in the same way, I also maintain my devotees. And the devotees, they simply fix their minds on Krishna. And they're not in anxiety about anything. For them, there's no anxiety because they're with Krishna. Once it's said that Gorkishwara's Babaji, we were telling a story, I think recently, was in Navadvip, and some young boys started throwing rocks at him. And Gorkishwara is an old man. He stopped, turned around, and started shouting and shaking his finger in the direction of those boys. But what did he say? He said, "Krishna, if you don't stop this right now, I'm going to tell your mother and you're going to be in big trouble." He wasn't seeing the hand of those boys. He was seeing Krishna wherever he looked. And because he has Krishna in his heart, there's no anxiety for him whatsoever. If some anxiety comes, he thinks Krishna is doing this, and then this is good for me, there's no problem. The devotee has absolute faith that Krishna will take care of everything. There's a nice story in this regard we'll finish with. Once there was a drought that hit a village area, and there was no rain for 3-4 years. And all the villagers who were depending completely on their agriculture, they were practically starving to death. The villagers, they keep some paddy rice to the side, but that rice was running out after 3-4 years of drought. And so they all decided we have to do some yajna to get rain. And so they asked some astrologer, and they figured the time and place for it. And they made it compulsory for everybody to come. And so all the villagers slowly started gathering there at the place where they're going to have the yajna. And one villager came there with an umbrella in his hand. And when he saw that, all the villagers started laughing. He's a pretty simple person. He's a little crazy, you know. And so they did the yajna, and they gave prasadam to everyone. It's still very, very hot and dry, and there's no clouds in the sky. Everyone started to leave. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, clouds started coming like anything. And suddenly there was a heavy shower. And everybody's standing there without any way to protect themselves from rain. They all ran up to the person with the umbrella. And then they asked him, what made you carry this umbrella? And he just said one word. He said, faith. He said, we're doing a puja to Krishna for rain. How can it not be? Krishna will take care. So the devotees should just have firm faith in Krishna. And for a devotee who has firm faith in Krishna, there's no anxiety for them. There's one sadhu friend I know who was living in an ashram with a number of devotees. Actually, he was the mahant there, in charge of the ashram. And many people would give him gifts. He had beautiful pictures and some nice electronic things and different things like that. And he never locked his door. And people were always coming and stealing things from him. But he was completely peaceful because he saw, oh, Krishna's taken care of. Krishna gave me this thing, and now Krishna wants it to go to someone else. He had no anxiety whatsoever. But we're in so much anxiety. Someone comes and takes our banana or something, or fried moong dal. We were furious. Who did this? Ha! And we want to go and blame everybody for it. So the devotees, they have Krishna. So there's no question of them ever losing anything because they already have everything. So we'll stop there. We have a few minutes. If anybody has any reflections you'd like to share. Mahadevi, Hare Krishna Mataji. Nice to see you. Srila Prabhupada's disciple. Srila Prabhupada's given us everything. Even he's shown mercy to fallen dogs and rascals. Thank you very much. My mother Mahadevi, I remember her, she was always playing Sita in the dramas, and we were doing drama together sometimes, different things in Los Angeles. Hare Krishna, Mahendra Prabhu, Natalie, Adi Gopi. The devotees have Krishna bound up in their heart. Okay, so if anybody has any comments or questions, you can say something. Otherwise, I'll see if Krishna Kun has some comments. Or Anapayani. Okay, come here.
You mentioned analogy as... I will ask it later. I just wanted to ask, you mentioned about how bird, fish, and turtle, they protect and care about their children. Is there some verse like this? Oh, really?
We read that verse in Hari Bhakti Surudoya. It's quoted by Srila Jiva Goswami. Let's see. In his it's a verse from Padma Purana, excuse me. It's quoted by Sanatana Goswami in his commentary on Brihad Bhagavatam, Darshana Dhyana Samsparashaya Matsya Karma Vihangama. Matsya means a fish, Karma means a turtle. Vihangama means the birds. Swanyapyanyani Pushnanti Tataham Api Padmaja. And they maintain their offspring in these different ways, just as I maintain my devotees. That's very, very nice. Nice thing to meditate on. In a similar way, Gurudev, also maintains the devotees. And we may think, well, I just like Gopakumar got initiated, and his guru didn't even explain the verse to him and said, I got to go now, and disappeared. But his Gurudev was always maintaining him. He was always looking over him. He was always meditating on him and taking care of him. So Gurudev's always there for the devotee.
When we, I don't remember the word, but maybe you remember when, as much as we think of somebody, he think of us in the same level. So I forgot the word.
Krishna in the Gita says, Yaya tamam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham. As someone approaches me, I reciprocate accordingly. Adi Gadadhar Prabhu asks the question, how can we counteract complacency in spiritual life? Well, we have to associate with people who are on fire. And if we associate with people who are on fire, we'll catch our fire ourselves. Those persons will chastise us, they'll inspire us just by their example. Madhupati Prabhu's comments that we only lose things that are obstacles of moving toward Krishna. And that's Krishna's mercy. It seems like sometimes we lose something. Oh, I lost my husband, I lost my wife, I lost my job. But actually it's a great blessing because those personalities were causing us so much trouble sometimes. And Krishna, if he's very kind, he says, Yasyaham anugranami harishita dhanam shanai. That if I'm really give my mercy to someone, my anugraha, then I take everything away from them, all the obstacles from their bhakti, so they can come to me and then they become truly happy. Hare Krishna, Lynn, thank you for such a nice comment. And thank you for taking part. So we're going to go ahead and stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. We'll be here again, not tomorrow, not on Friday, but again on Saturday. Panchakalpatarubhishcha.